We're excited because we're going to get to talk to a guy right now who is one of the winningest coaches in college football history. He's one of only two head coaches to win both a college national championship and a Super Bowl. And he's with us right now on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. With us right now, the head football coach, former head football coach of the Oklahoma Sooners and the Dallas Cowboys, and a champion with both, Barry Switzer. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you very much. Now, I understand, are you in New York right now?
I'm in New York at the Waldorf. We're here for the College Football Hall of Fame. That we have it every week, first week of December. This is the 55th year we've had the hall, and I think it's been here since the mid-'60s, held at the Waldorf Astoria. There's kind of a little history behind that. You know, Douglas MacArthur was asked to speak, and he lived at the Waldorf in the Towers, and he asked those that asked him to speak at the College Football Hall of Fame banquet where they held the event, and they said that the Downtown Athletic Club, which was downtown, and he said, well, if you hold it here at the Waldorf, I'll speak. So that was in the mid-'60s, and they never left here. So
very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
That must be a fun week for you to come back and see all these guys, huh?
Yeah, it is. I was a bunch of coaches last night, a bunch this afternoon. The lobby's full. In fact, Jimmy Johnson will be here. He'll be going in the College Football Hall of Fame tomorrow night, being inducted. And we've got so many guys that I've coached against and with, and all here. It's a great week for everyone, and it's something I look forward to every year.
Well, we really do appreciate you coming on with us. I got to ask you, first of all, what do you think about Oklahoma going to the Cotton Bowl while Northern Illinois goes to a BCS Bowl?
That's why the BCS is such a great thing.
You like it?
No, hell no, I don't like it. It's ridiculous. How do you think the bowls like it? Do you think the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl like what they got?
Not a chance.
No, they don't. No, they hate it. And the old system worked better for them. They got to select, fight, go out there, and get the top-ranked player teams in the country. Orange Bowl always used to get the highest-ranked teams to come play the Big 8 champion. The system has changed, and it's not for the better. And Oklahoma, here's a school that's lost to two teams that both records are 23-1. Both of them have been ranked one this year. They're 23-1, and Kansas State and Notre Dame, and they now, because of Louisville and this system we have, and Northern Illinois. How many do you think they'll travel from Northern Illinois?
About 5.
Maybe 5. What do you think the TV rating will be on that?
I think cartoons are going to have higher ratings.
No, they will. It's ridiculous, and no one likes it, but that's what someone designed, and we living with it.
So, do you like the idea of going to the Cotton Bowl?
Well, I'd rather be in the Cotton Bowl playing Texas A&M. Well, obviously, I'd rather be in the Sugar playing against Georgia, or Florida. Mm-hmm. But if you can't do that, I would certainly take the Cotton versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M is an exciting football team. They've done an excellent job. I think we've played them before. We know them. It should be obviously we haven't played this quarterback they've got right now, but it'll be a good game, and it's in Jerry's world, and with the way Oklahoma travels, the way A&M travels, we'll fill the place up. There'll be 100,000 people in the bowl game. So Jerry's got to be excited for what's happening for him.
I bet. Now, what do you think of Johnny Manziel?
Well, I watched that 6-minute highlight the other day. Someone said, I think one of Mac's coaches, Rex Norris, sent me a link, a YouTube link, and I went and watched it, and I was impressed. I didn't know he had that type of running ability. I'd never seen him play an entire ball game, but I got a chance to watch all those touchdowns and his throws and his his runs and his ability and talent. He's an exciting player, and gives them a chance to win. But they're winning with more than just him. Their defense has played well this year. They've really improved defensively over what they've been the last couple of years. But you know what? Sherman said he's going to have a good football team. This is a senior bunch, and they're playing good. And obviously, he thought he was a good player. They brought him in there and redshirted him, so he probably would have been his quarterback too.
What do you think he would have been like in a wishbone formation back in the '80s playing for you?
No, he's been good. He might but I had a lot of good ones. His competition was been damn good. J.C. Watts, Jamel Holloway, and Charles Thompson, Eric Mitchell. Those guys were good too.
Yeah, they were. They were terrific players.
Speed.
Do you have a problem with a freshman winning the Heisman?
I don't think they will give it to a freshman. I think that they'll give it, if it comes down to it, they'll give it to the linebacker at Notre Dame over him because of the fact that he is a freshman. I don't know if I actually have, the guys lost 3 ball games. I don't know if I got who they lost to.
Well, they lost to LSU and they lost to Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was a quarterback in those games, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't really thought that much about it. They're really not. I'd vote for Colin Klein. I'm just kind of for that guy. I just love his style of offense. I love what they do offensively. I love their system, their scheme. He does a great job of running that single wing that they run and the design of it. And I love it.
What do you think of the national championship matchup between Alabama and Notre Dame?
Well, I think Notre Dame is much better, but Notre Dame plays damn good every time they go out and play. Their defense is better, probably what people think they are. But I think Alabama would knock them out there, control the ball, and win the game a couple, 2 or 3.
Just a few weeks ago, Darryl Royal passed away. You used to really get under his skin. What are your memories of those days and playing against his teams?
Well, they were always good. In fact, the year we won the national championship, my first year in '74, we won 11-0. They won 10-1. If they'd beaten us, they might have been national champions. And they were good. They were outstanding teams, and many times we won those games undefeated, both of us, ranked high in the country. But we recruited Texas heavily. We were very successful. But this was in an era when we were recruiting a black athlete, and Texas wasn't, and so we had tremendous success. And I think that was the difference in the 2 programs at that time.
It really made him crazy. I know he thought you guys spied on him, and later on you wrote in a book that you...
Well, we did. I mean, we did. It wasn't my staff, though. There's semantics involved here. When I was accused by the press that my staff spied on Texas, I said, no, my staff did not spy on Texas. That's not true. And I was being accurate and truthful in that statement. Chuck Fairbanks was the head coach in '72 when the incident happened. It was only brought out 4 years later when I was the head coach in '76. So the whole thing had the poor timing and the wrong head coach, and it was just a debacle. And but at the same time, it happened. But I wonder how many times they spied on us. We've always had open practices. It happens all the time in college football. It's kind of ridiculous. My practices were never closed. I'm sure there are people who watched me and were Texas fans when I was coaching. But I never worried about it, never cared. I wasn't that paranoid about it.
But obviously he must have been.
Well, first of all, we had turned the tables. We won in 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. 76 he didn't win. They tied the game. So, that was the end of his career, and he didn't have success against Oklahoma. So that was the same thing that happened to Bud Wilkinson now. Bud did not beat Texas the last 6 years that he coached. When he resigned, he hadn't beaten Texas in 6 years. Then Gomer Jones lost him 2 years in a row. So when I came to Oklahoma in 1966 with Jim McKenzie, Oklahoma had not beaten Texas in 8 years. So, losing fosters those feelings and maybe some of those decisions you make.
It can get coaches fired, too. I know right now a lot of heat on Mack Brown because of what's happening with Oklahoma against Texas here the last few years as well.
Well, that's true, and I can understand why. Texas people want to be successful, have success, and they want that turned around. But, University of Texas should be a great program.
So do you think they underachieve?
Well, what were they, 7-5 year before last, 8-4 this year?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're underachieving. Yes, I think Mack Brown will tell you that.
What do you think about the way coaches are being fired now after only a couple of years on the job? In fact, Ellis Johnson down at Southern Miss got fired after 1 year on the job.
Well, I don't know anything about his situation. I don't know the reasons why. That's terrible that a coach would only have a job opportunity 1 year. And what were the reasons? I mean, they hired him because he got the job because they were terrible. So they weren't very good. So he comes in there and they expect him to turn around in a year. I don't know. I just don't think that happens. But I don't know what the reasons. There might be some things we don't know.
But what do you think about a coach? If all things are just about wins and losses, and a coach is gone after just a couple of years, I mean, most of the time, most people used to say that 5 years was a minimum time that a coach ought to at least have an opportunity to get a full graduating class through.
Yeah, that's the old school, but the old school doesn't exist anymore. The old school is old athletic directors or old football coaches, and that doesn't happen anymore either. And so it's the game has changed, and we don't have as much time. People want to instant success. Money is a lot of money at stake involved in fundraising, and so there's obviously a great correlation between giving to schools when they have winning successful programs and years that they don't. So it's always been that way at Oklahoma. So
sure,
very important we win.
Now I know
it is about wins and losses. When you think that it isn't, then you're really off base.
I know you got pulled into the debate about the way Jerry Jones runs the Cowboys a few weeks ago. What do you think about the team he has right now?
In pro football, everybody can beat everybody. It's just so competitive. Everybody drafts in the first round, second round, third round. Everybody gets a good player. It comes down to how they play on Sunday. And teams that make the fewest mistakes usually win the ball game. And field position, there's so many variables that enter into it. But Cowboys could, they're not as good as probably people think they are. But why they pull off a win yesterday, didn't they, against the Eagles?
Yep.
I don't know what is their record. I don't have any idea.
They're 6-6 right now, and they still actually have a chance to make the
playoffs.
playoffs.
An average team. They're an average team. Yeah.
Well, do you think he ought to hire a general manager?
No, I don't think Jerry's ever going to hire a general manager. That's not going to happen. It's his team. He bought it. And he's going to do what he wants, and so that's it. He's going to. He doesn't get involved, and he doesn't mess with the coaches. He didn't get involved in the football. So they select the boards of the draft. They evaluate the talent. They set the board. Anything that involves financial decisions, he's got to be involved in because he's got to write the checks. But Jerry doesn't get involved. Now, what is the job description of the general manager in pro football? I really don't know what the general manager as a coach and athletic director never got involved with me as a head football coach. I went to and told him what I needed sometimes, and the program went up for us to be more successful. And but the athletic director never sat in my meetings. Jerry doesn't sit in on the coaches' meetings and tell them what to do and any of that. He doesn't have anything to do with what happens on the field on game day. But what do general managers do?
That's a good question.
So that's what you need to find out first of all. So Jerry interfering with the football program.
When you were in the draft room with him, what was that like?
Well, we already had the board set. We knew who we were going to draft and how if someone fell there and they came off the board right, and all of a sudden there was someone that we had ranked higher, that was there, that is still on the board, and we had them there. We just made a decision, real quick decision with the coaches and the scouts, that whether we ought to take this guy, and we have a 20-minute discussion about him before we drafted him. Someone else, a lot of people passed on him. We had a decision to make. But those are the things that happen in a draft room. Basically, they all go off the board just like in every draft room around the country the same way. Now, when you get in the third and fourth rounds, they start to be at a difference. You start more guys being left up there that you had up there. Then you're throwing darts on those fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh rounds.
Did you ever find a situation where you or someone there in the that was involved in the talent evaluation had a disagreement with Jerry Jones about it?
Yeah, sure. Well, no, Jerry never got involved in that decision. He always asked with the coaches, and the head coach is the one that made the decision on the final decision we went with. Scouts and the coaches discussed it. So we always have disagreements on whether we ought to take this player or that player over at a particular position. But head coach ends up making the decision. He's the tiebreaker.
Okay, so in your situation, you were able to be the tiebreaker then when you were there.
I think it's the same way. Jerry Jones isn't going to be the tiebreaker.
So why do you think he takes all this abuse then?
Well, I guess the media's going to give abuse. Has the media ever been right? You ever believe every damn thing you read in the media?
Of course.
I don't know what the hell you got. How many of those guys covered the kickoff and brought one back? Right, these stories about football. You ever thought about that?
That's a good point. I'm not going to say anything. That's for sure.
Okay.
I'm going to stay out of that one for sure. Is there a coach out there that, obviously you probably are a big Bob Stoops fan. Is there somebody else out there in college football right now that you look at and go, man, I really like this guy?
I think Art Briles is one of the top coaches in the country at Baylor. I think he would be a great addition to a great program. I think he could go into a good situation and make it special. And I think he's a very talented coach. And there's a few others out there, but he's certainly one of them.
How closely are you watching the situation with the opening at your old alma mater in Arkansas?
I don't pay much attention to it. I don't know who they're even trying to get. Obviously,
Art Briles would be a good one.
Gus Malzahn is at Arkansas State. He coached at Arkansas. He was at Springdale High School, a few miles up the road from Fayetteville, and he was at Auburn, and when they won the national championship. I would think he would be a leader at both those schools.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming on with us. Again, it's been a great pleasure. I hope you have a great time in New York with all your buddies and enjoy the Hall of Fame deal. And we hope we can talk to you again down the line.
All right. Well, take care, guys.
Thank you very much. All right. That is Coach Barry Switzer, the Hall of Fame coach from the Oklahoma Sooners and the Dallas Cowboys.